To the Emmaus Borough Council meeting, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Personal appeals, part one. If anyone has a personal appeal, please approach the podium, sign in.
Do you want to announce the attendance first?
Oh, yes. For the record, Councilman Dufresne is absent, and Councilwoman Baumgartner is here by way of teleconferencing. And Junior Councilman Hausman is not here also. Thank you.
Hello, gentlemen and ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to voice my opinion on the removal of Jay Kleckner from his position of the Parks Department Group Leader at Emmaus Community Park.
Oh, please state your name and address
Jan
for
Seltz.
the record.
4133 Charles Road, but I also own a child care center at 1336 West Minor, which is across the street from the community park.
Thank you, Jane.
He's been the borough employee since 1988, 32 years of loyal service. He's been a Parks Group Leader for 31 years. He's overseen 8 high schools and college summer employees every year. And I know this is, you know this as a fact, but I know it because I own the daycare across from the park for 22 years. I met Jay when my children were small, and as a family, we joined the community pool. I opened up a child care center 22 years ago across from the park, so I have seen firsthand on a daily basis the love and the respect Jay has for the park. I not only see Jay Monday through Friday, but also on weekends. I'm a walker, so I'm down there Saturday and Sunday. He would be there making sure his young summer employees were doing their jobs, which isn't an easy job, opening the pool for the Emmaus Aquatic Club, working with an auxiliary police as an auxiliary police officer for special events, and or cleaning up after storms or special activities. One early Saturday morning last summer, I was taking a walk, and Jay was there about 7 o'clock in the morning, taking down the outdoor movie screen from the night before. I said, Jay, what are you doing here? Have one of your employees do this. He goes, it's an expensive piece of equipment, and I want to make sure it's put away right. Jay's been an auxiliary police officer since 2005, 15 years, and is currently the auxiliary police captain and oversees all auxiliary police. I've seen him at hundreds of events from high school athletics to community activities at the park, Zumba, Flag Day, and the Emmaus Memorial Day Parade for years. The list is endless. Last fall, there were several young men looking for cars to break into. One of my employees' cars was hit. The next day, several employees saw men looking into the cars in the neighborhood, and one proceeded to go down to the park where the park employees witnessed him looking into their cars. I went to see Jay knowing this man who was walking around the park was not a regular. Like I said, I'm a walker. I know who walks the park. Jay followed him up into the neighborhood until the police arrived. Turned out he had a warrant and was arrested immediately. Jay cares. For 31 years, he has been responsible for all the maintenance in the park and the community pool. He also has his pool operator's license. The pool manager could always count on Jay any day or hour of the week. If there was a problem, it would be addressed no matter what day, no matter what time. All the above are facts you all know, but the remarkable part of Jay is his commitment, respect, and duty to a job he has loved for 30 years, and he's irreplaceable. My question to you is that will this new man you hired to oversee our parks respect it? From what I have witnessed in the last 2 weeks, so far, probably not. I've seen him pull up in a borough truck with a cigarette in his mouth, something my children are watching. And when he gets out, he puts the butt on the ground, stomps it out, and he leaves it there. After he left a little while, I went over and noticed there were 4 butts, the same brand, on the ground. The only people I've seen pick them up are Jay and another employee named Noah. There are cigarette butts there daily. So do I believe this man will love and respect our community park like Jay? Never, never. I have some questions for all of you. In a letter that was given to Jay, who decided that between either the Public Works Director gets fired or Jay loses his park group leader position? It's in the letter.
No, it's not.
In the same letter, Jay got blamed for filling the pool before the pool was painted.
No, he wasn't.
It wasn't his decision. He was followed orders given to him by the Public Works Director. If these two things are incorrect, then what else in this letter of discipline should the public believe?
Did you see the letter?
Yes.
Thank you.
I hope you reconsider letting Jay be reassigned. He's been a loyal employee, served in the Marines for our country, and would do anything you asked him to do. If you need help, Jay will help you. You have someone who respects our park like it is his own backyard. He deserves your loyalty.
I'm not responding.
And he's the same he has given to our community for 32 years. And press, I can get a copy of the letter. Thank you.
Mrs. Stelz, everything you said about Jay is correct. Everybody loves Jay. But unfortunately, this is a personnel issue, and we cannot discuss it. So I'll just leave it at that.
That's okay. I just wanted to voice my opinion. That's all there is to it. Because I'm not the only one in the community who feels like this. I think the coronavirus is keeping a lot of people away, but I do believe that he has a loyal support system here. Thank you.
And just for the record, Jay's still employed by the Borough of Emmaus. He's still a Public Works employee.
Okay.
And he's still captain of the auxiliary police.
Does he make the same salary he's made before?
We're not going to discuss the matter with you any
discuss
further. But we want to make it very
I know the
clear.
answer.
We want to make it very clear that Jay is still a Public Works employee.
Thank you for your time.
Anybody have anything to bring forward for a community minute? Hearing none, no special presentations, reading of the minutes. Does anybody want to make a motion to approve the council meeting minutes of March 2nd? Councilman Balliet, seconded by Councilwoman McManaman. Any questions or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? There are 6 ayes. You were very loud, Shannon. We could hear you.
Sorry.
That's all right. Decisions on bids. We have curb and concrete contractor bid, and there were, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 respondents, 6 bidders, and the only thing I don't know, because I didn't see who is being recommended, is it Segura?
It's John Segura,
right.
Segura Concrete, the little bit.
So would somebody like to make a motion to approve Segura as our curb and concrete contractor? Councilman Anders, seconded by Councilman Balliet. Any questions or discussion on this? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. There are 6 ayes. Communications, we received a letter from Franklin Tranguch of 4031 Mill Road requesting appointment to the Building Board of Appeals where there is a vacancy. Does this have to go to committee?
So I would recommend, I actually made the request to see if he would apply. I would recommend, again, if we can limit the number of committee meetings.
So just approve it?
If you guys are good with, if you guys know who Mr.
Well,
Trangucci's
I
been-
read that, the history of his, I mean, he's been doing it his whole life, so.
But if you feel comfortable with appointing him, then I would appoint him. If you don't, then
So we need to
Refer
know
to
what the term is. I don't know if it's in this letter. I don't think it is.
4-year terms are.
Yeah, it's not-
1/1 of 24.
All right, would somebody like to make a motion to approve Franklin Tranguch to the Building Board of Appeals? Councilwoman McManaman, seconded by, come on, there's only 4 of you out there tonight. Councilman Anders.
Wait, who was the second?
Councilman Anders.
Right.
Any discussion? Sorry, Shannon, there's 5 of you out there.
Can you explain to everybody? We had our meeting this morning, and I got a good understanding of what they do, but it's,
So the Building Board of Appeals has only met twice in the last 8 years, 9 years, I think. And in particular, They deal with things like, if you're constructing an addition or you're constructing part of the house and, you can't meet the code for some hardship reason, you can appeal to the Building Board of Appeals to see if there's a way to get around that particular set of the code. It's not often that it's used, because there's not a whole lot of instances where you're able to use it, but that's really their function.
It's still an important role. I mean, if you have a header and you have weight on it and everything, and you want to try to use wood instead of steel, those kind of things, they look at those things and can give you a variance if they get the necessary engineering support.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 6 ayes. No Borough Engineers report, Solicitors report.
I have no report tonight.
Thank you. Unfinished business, part 1, we have nothing. New business, we have 2 ordinances. We have ordinance 1198, an ordinance amending chapter 15 subsection 404.1 of the codified ordinances setting parking restrictions at certain times on a portion of Arch Street. This is the first reading, and would somebody like to make a motion to approve it? Ordinance 1198. Councilman Hart, seconded by Councilwoman McManaman. Any discussion? Roll call vote. Councilwoman McManaman?
Aye.
Councilman Anders?
Aye.
Councilwoman Baumgartner?
You remembered me. Aye.
I did. Councilman Balliet?
Aye.
Councilman Hart?
Aye.
Councilman Ladenburg? Aye. There are 6 ayes. We have ordinance 1199, an ordinance amending chapter 15 subsection 303 of the codified ordinances, setting height restrictions and restricting tractor-trailer traffic on portions of South 2nd Street and South 10th Street. This is also a first reading. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve ordinance 1199? Councilman Hart, seconded by Councilman Anders. You want to just point out what it is, just so why we're doing this?
Yeah,
Either or.
I think
I
it's
just
coming
have
out
a
of his-
question then.
Yeah, I think it's coming out of his committee.
Okay. You want to just,
It doesn't matter.
oh, the safety committee, yeah, okay.
As it turns out, as a result of crashes on 78, tractor trailers are being sent this way via their GPSs and getting into trouble in our borough, heading in those directions and hitting the overpass under.
Yeah, their trucks are too tall for the underpass.
Too tall, and it's not really clear at this point in time until they're right on it that they're in the wrong area.
Thank you.
We're actually working with Upper Saucon to try to ban them at the bottom.
Post signs.
Well, they're going to look at passing an ordinance all the way down on the other side of the mountain.
That was my question was, and then signage would be, are we gonna do it
We'll take the responsibility for signage on all
on our
ends.
side or?
On all ends.
Okay, thank you.
Because the only reason why they would pass that ordinance is to benefit us.
I would imagine the only thing that would be allowed is local deliveries.
Yeah, well, I mean, as long as, so the whole thing has a height restriction. So if you fit under 13 feet, 3 inches,
Then you're fine.
then you're fine. And then what is it, 12 feet, 9 inches or something like that? 12, 10. Whatever the ordinance says, then you're fine on 10th Street. But if you're over that, you're not going under the bridge, you're going to hit the bridge. And by the way, like, they've hit the bridge more than enough times.
I've seen, yeah, it happened. Actually, they took a pole out at the former I-Corps building
Yeah.
recently, and thank you.
All right. Anybody else? This is also a roll call vote. Councilwoman McManaman?
Aye.
Councilman Anders?
Aye.
Councilwoman Baumgartner?
Aye.
Councilman Balliet?
Aye.
Councilman Hart?
Aye.
Councilman Ladenburg? Aye. There are 6 ayes. Unfinished business, part 2, we have nothing. Anybody have anything to bring forward not on the agenda? Hearing none, mayor's report.
I have nothing to report this evening. Progress.
Thank you. Committee reports. Public Works, Chairman Anders.
Yes, we met March 11th. A couple things from the notes. We did meet with Gene from the Nouse Homestead in regards to a few items there to be possibly installed, and we discussed it with the Public Works Director, John Dyschala. One note for council is that we have asked the community organizations if they are requesting use of Public Works to come to the committee, and that's why you'll see a little bit more notes in regards to those requests, which you do have in here. It was also discussed as far as paving for this year. Shane, do we need a motion in regards to that? No. Okay. You'll see the notes as far as instead of paving, they'll be doing some crack sealing and other maintenance on the roads this year. And then hopefully saving some funds for larger projects next year. And beyond
Roy,
that-
can I add to that, please?
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
So when the intention is to do sections of the crack sealing and patching so that in future years, we can go to the oil and chip where we can preserve our roads for much longer than what we've been doing. In addition to doing reconstruction of certain streets where we do the repairs with the sewer lines, water lines and all that, so.
And if you
that's all.
recall, in this year's budget, we did budget for a crack sealer
Yeah.
machinery. So with that then, if there's no questions, I'll report progress.
Thank you. Health, Sanitation and Codes Committee, Chairman Balliet.
Mr. President, I don't have anything for official action tonight. I don't know if it's worth a discussion about the health portion of our committee and what that role in.
We will be discussing that later on, yeah.
Yep, so with that, then, as of right now, our next meeting is going to be scheduled for March 25th at 4:30. And with that, I'm going to report progress.
Thank you. Parks and Recreation Committee, Chairwoman Baumgartner.
Hello. We do have one item for official action today. So as you can see in our committee meeting notes, we've done some interviews of consultants for the Parks and Trails study that we plan to do in the coming year. We had 10 submissions, and we interviewed 5 of those. And we do have a recommendation to go with Simony Collins. Their proposal is attached in your notes. And I'd like to put that in the form of a motion.
There's a motion by Councilwoman Baumgartner to approve Simony Collins for the proposal. Is there a second? Councilman Anders, any discussion on this? I heard it was pretty close with the company interview tonight, and there was some discussion.
Yeah, I think we had some very, very well-qualified firms that we interviewed, and I think there were some very highly qualified firms that we didn't interview. The firm that was there tonight was very impressive. Simony Collins, though, I think in the eyes of the committee, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they really stuck out at the end of the day as far as our clear favorite. They had a very impressive presentation. And has a very solid history of this type of work. And I think the sentiment of the committee was that they'll do a really good job for the borough.
And they did do Upper Saucon Township and have done a good job.
Oh, that's good to hear. Anybody else?
I think if any other council members are interested in picking up that, I think Shane did have a few extra copies.
Yeah, I mean, we scanned everything we could for you. Obviously the scan looks different than the book presentation itself.
I will say they're very professional. You can see they provide us with this and then also their proposal. This was during their interview that they gave us additional questions and that for it. And then, of course, very thorough plan inside with the way they've done their materials.
Awesome. All right, any other questions for discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 6 ayes.
That's all for anything actionable. Our next meeting is scheduled for April 7th at 4:45 p.m. Progress.
Thank you. Public Safety Committee, Chairman Hart.
Yes. When it comes to coronavirus, March 9th, it might as well be 4 years ago. We had a meeting that day specifically to talk about coronavirus and the borough's preparedness for that. Included, in addition to our committee and staff members present, we invited members of the health board there. And given the fact that a lot of what appears in the notes is now dated, can be dated within 2 hours, there was a really robust discussion and a feeling by at least this council member that we were as ready as we could be at that point in time with regard to supplies. I thought the ambulance and firefighters did an amazing job in anticipating this and secured supplies, masks, and things like that that are presently in short supply. So from that perspective, we felt very good. They discussed in detail, alternate plans for certain issues that might happen, but we all did realize that it was an unfolding issue and that we would, in many instances, be dictated by the state and federal government as to what exactly we were going to do, which is happening as we speak. We did take solace in the fact that we have 2 great healthcare systems in this immediate area, both of which are very capable of handling these types of situations and have handled them, such as H1N1 previously. So we felt very good about that. But more to come, and we're going to have more discussion tonight. That's all I have. And our next meeting is, April 13th at 9:15 a.m. I report.
Thank you. General Administration Committee, there's nothing to vote on. Our next meeting is next Thursday, March 26th, here in Council Chambers at 9 a.m. Progress. Budget and Finance Committee, filling in for Councilman Dufresne will be Councilman Hart.
Yes, under Resolution 20-11, order of business is consideration for payment of the bill list with checks for payment from March 3rd through March 16th, totaling $229,028.61. Additional payments noted for consideration are payroll expenses and payroll taxes for a grand total of $445,127.28. Also included in your packet is a list of significant revenues and expenses. I would note that I personally went through the items and found nothing out of the ordinary, and Mr. Dufresne indicated he didn't see any either. So with that, I'll offer that in the form of a motion.
There's a motion to approve Resolution 2020-11. Is there a second? Councilman Balliet, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. There are 6 ayes.
No further business for consideration. Our next meeting is March 26th at 11 a.m. I report progress.
Thank you. Community Relations, Planning and Development Committee, Chairwoman McManaman.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing for official action tonight. We do have notes from a recent meeting attached in your packets. But a few highlights from our recent meeting. We will have a borough table at the Emmaus Farmers Market starting this summer season, the 1st and 3rd Sundays of the month. The whole idea around this is to have more visibility for borough departments and some of the things that we can call to the attention of the community, such as the Parks and Trails study. So this will be a great way for us to just be out in the community. We do have several website updates that have happened, corrections that have been made, and we think it'll be a little bit easier for you all to use the calendar on that. And then we, as a committee, will start the marketing plan. We have an overview of our goals, what we're trying to accomplish with that, and you'll hear more about that in the coming months. Our next meeting is April 13th at 4:30. I'll report progress.
Thank you. We have no junior council members report tonight. You have 2 boards and commission meeting minutes. It's interesting to see listed here, Emmaus Creative Arts and Innovation Center newsletter, so that's
Did you
exciting
know-
to see.
Did you see that they've had some matching money already, and they're starting in there? It's an interesting read, and they're working to grow the place down there. So some
It is
great things
exciting.
happening. Yeah,
It's happening.
It's great reading their newsletter and having that there.
All right, Personal Appeals Part 2. Hearing none. Borough Manager's Report.
Couple things. First of all, we have hired Noah Carl as a part-time firefighter, as you can see in the memorandum. And also today, I hired Casey Bowder as a part-time EMT. You don't have a memorandum on her because, again, I hired her this afternoon. So both of them have served in volunteer roles for us. And they're both at the point of being able to be in a paid position. Noah in particular actually went to the Allentown Fire Academy and actually graduated with more certifications than most people that are twice his age have obtained. I mean, that's what the academy is able to do for you. His career goals are similar to what most firefighters, in his age are, and that's to be a professionally paid firefighter somewhere. Ms. Bowder is also young in her career. Her ultimate goal is to be a flight nurse. She also has a bachelor's degree in public health. So the medical side is a passion. Quite honestly, right now, I'd be scared to death to be getting into it. But I'm extremely excited to welcome both of them as the manpower is definitely needed, and we feel that both are more than qualified for the positions. You also see that we made some personnel moves that you have memorandums on, and we have an executive session to speak about a personnel matter and probably some legal issues a little later. So I'll report progress.
Thank you. Under President's Business, we will be having an executive session. Like Shane said, we will be discussing personnel matters and legal issues with
The possibility.
of a vote being taken after, depending on what we discuss. I'm going to ask that we have the executive session here so we're not in a confined room. So I'll ask the press after we recess here. You can come ask your questions, and then I'll ask you to leave. If you want to be notified when we're finished to come back, we'll come get you. But so at this point, we'll recess at 7:28 for executive session.